Okay, the next topic, that we're going to be studying in our cell metabolism unit is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis consists of two reactions through the use of light, and then the light independent reaction, or the light dependent reaction, and the Calvin cycle. We are going to produce sugar and oxygen, and this all happens in the chloroplast. So the evolution of photosynthesis, they believe, first evolved in prokaryotic organisms, and they believe that those prokaryotic organisms and the photosynthesis that occurred in them was responsible for the production of the oxygen in our atmosphere that we have today. They also believe that prokaryotic photosynthetic pathways were the foundation of eukaryotic photosynthesis. There are several structures involved in photosynthesis within the plant. The main site of photosynthesis is in the chloroplast. Then within the chloroplast, you have the stroma, which is the fluid-filled area. Then you have the thylakoids, which are these interconnected membranous sacs, or what I like to say look like little stacked coins. And then you have the thylakoid space, when this is where the thylakoids segregate or separate from the stroma and allow a proton gradient to be established. And then you also have the chlorophyll, which is located in the thylakoid membranes, and it's the light absorbing pigment that drives photosynthesis. You also have on the exterior lower epidermis of a leaf, or the bottom portion of a leaf, tiny pores called stomata. And the stomata is where CO2 and O2 can enter the leaf, and transpiration takes place through here too. Then we have the formula for photosynthesis, where 6 CO2 plus 6 water plus light energy is going to yield a sugar molecule and 6 oxygen molecules. And if we actually take this and flip it, we will have the formula for cellular respiration. And these two are very interconnected with each other. So photosynthesis happens in two stages, the light reaction and the Calvin cycle. The light reaction happens in the thylakoid membrane, and its net products that it produces are NADPH and ATP, and then a waste product of oxygen. The NADPH and the ATP are then used in the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle occurs in the stroma, and it uses CO2 from the air to go through carbon fixation until it produces sugar. And it uses the ATP and NADPH for this carbon fixation process. So the light reaction, looking at it in more detail, happens in 3 steps. The light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll, which drives the transfer of electrons from water to NADP, forming NADPH. Water is split during these endergonic reactions, and O2 is released. And ATP is generated via chemiosmosis, which powers the phosphorylation of ADP into ATP. So light is the primary energy source for life on Earth, and it has an electromagnetic energy. So it behaves as though it's made up of discrete particles called photons. Each has a fixed quantity of energy. Those photons enter the pigments that absorb the light, and then those pigments absorb the energy from the light, the photons, and use it in the process of photosynthesis. So the light reaction has 2 parts to it, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. Photosystem 2 happens first, and then photosystem 1 occurs. The reason why it's backwards like this is because photosystem 1 was discovered first, and then photosystem 2 was discovered. So that's why they're named backwards. And in these two photosystems, a process called non-cyclic phosphorylation is where electrons are removed from water and pass through PS2 and PS1 before ending up in NADPH. And this process requires light to be absorbed twice, one in each photosystem, and it makes ATP. In fact, it's called photophosphorylation because it involves using light energy to make ATP from ADP. So light energy is absorbed by many pigments in the photosystem, and it's passed inward from the pigment to pigment until it reaches the reaction center. And there the energy is transferred to P680, a chlorophyll pigment, where it boosts an electron to a higher level. And then that electron is passed on to an acceptor molecule and replaced with an electron from water. And the splitting of the water gives the O2 that we breathe. So this is a little video I'm going to talk over. So you have the photosystem, and the light comes in, and it's transferred down through this light harvesting complex from pigment to pigment. And then it's passed into P680. From P680, it excites the electrons, and it is then transferred through the light reaction center, the reaction chamber, up and out to the electron transport chain. The electron that was used is then replaced with a water molecule. By splitting the water molecule, it gives an electron to the P680, and then the process begins again. And then those electrons are then transferred down the electron transfer chain where it goes into photosystem 1. So as the water molecules split, they then can form oxygens. Two oxygens can join and release as a gas into the atmosphere. Now, this produces a gradient or a large amount of hydrogen protons inside the thylakoid membrane. And so now that gradient is going to want to move to its lower through a protein channel called ATP synthase. And the movement of these protons through the ATP synthase is called chemiosmosis. And it allows for us to take ADP and add an extra phosphate to form ATP, the energy molecule that's going to be used in the Calvin cycle. Now, ATP synthesis is when the high energy electrons travel down an electron transport chain, losing energy as it goes. Some of the released energy drives the pumping of the hydrogen ions from the stroma into the thylakoid interior, building a gradient. And then as the hydrogen ions flow down their gradient into the stroma, they pass through the ATP synthase, and this process is known as chemiosmosis, like we just explained. Now, in photosystem 1, the electrons arrive at photosystem 1 through the electron transport chain, and they join up with the P700 chlorophylls in the reaction center. And when the light energy is absorbed by the pigments, it's passed inward to the reaction center, and the P700 then boosts it to a very high level of energy, where it's transferred to an acceptor molecule. Now, this special pair's missing electron is replaced by a new electron from the photosystem 2, arriving via the electron transport chain. The high energy electron that goes through the reaction chamber travels down a short second leg of an electron transport chain and is passed to NADP to form NADPH. So we're going to watch how this works here. So photosystem 1, light is absorbed again, so it is passed through the different pigments of the chloroplast to the P700, the reaction center. Then that excites it to an extreme high level and is passed down a short electron transport chain of its own. The electrons that used are then replaced by electrons from photosystem 2. And so they're just naming the different proteins that it's passed through in photosystem 2. And this drives, the movement of these electrons drives the hydrogen protons into the thylakoid space and then out again. Now, in the P700, it excites the electron, puts it down a short electron transport chain called ferredoxin, and then to NADP reductase, where it reduces NADP to NADPH, and then we have our second molecule of the light reaction formed. So this is just another image of how it works. You've got your O2 coming in to replace the electrons that are used by the P680, and then those electrons are transferred down the electron transport chain, where it's taken in by the P700, and then excited again, and then down the electron transport chain to form NADPH. And this movement down the electron transport chain drives in hydrogen protons, which creates a concentration gradient, and then that goes through chemiosmosis to produce ATP. So here is our overview again of photosynthesis, and then we are going to go into the Calvin cycle in our next video.